3, 2, 1.
And it's game time. ConX5 here. I got Terror on my side tonight. This is MLUT Week 3 matchup between Final Solution and 5 Minute Feed. 5 Minute Feed is going to be red team. Good luck figuring out their player names. I'm just going to call them red. This is going to be Anfractuous, which is a very, very fast-paced map, so we're going to see a lot of flag grabs coming out here. I'm going to do my best to try to keep it somewhat coherent. But certainly what we've got coming up first is going to be power-ups right at the top here.
Yep, I'm hovering over the 100 shield right now. Looks like we have one 5 Minute Feed member sitting there. As the red flag is returned, they have 3 on it. I don't know which one got it, but I'm pretty sure 5 Minute Feed picked it up. Going back in for another grab now.
Yeah, they had Amp, but he went down, so right as I switched to him, he was already dead. But I'm going to go ahead and get a view of these flags now. You get a little bit of a view of the flag room for those who may not be initiated. Very wide open, so 2 defenders are going to have a hard time. Actually, they're going to have an impossible time keeping the flag home. So pretty much this entire map is transition.
Yes, it is. There's a lot of losing the flag carrier going between those hallways as we see 5 Minute Feed return their flag. Cashel got it back to his minigun before getting taken down.
Yeah, it's one of those maps, and it looks like both teams are playing 3 fully committed offensive players, which is interesting because it's not 100% necessary in this map. I've seen teams run maybe one flag runner and then one support cover from time to time, and you can actually get the flag out so easily on this map that you can get away with that. I think Cashel grabbed that 100 and died instantly.
He did win the battle for the 100 shield, but instantaneously died for it, so that'll be a very important factor for Marcos' team, 5 Minute Feed. Like I said before, they're a very power-up oriented team, with their most likely their main runner being Cool Spot, who does love to get that power-up before he touches any flags.
Amp should be coming up any second now. Looks like Red Team is winning that fight as they have 3 or 4 on top of it.
Red Team just grabbed it.
And as you say, 5 Minute Feed, an offensive-oriented team on the whole, but they're definitely one of those teams that likes to get quality runs by stacking up on power-ups. You can already see they're committing 3 to 4 people to every power-up, definitely making sure that they secure those.
Yeah, that's something that their team is very much going to focus on. We'll have to keep an eye on that as the match progresses and see how well they do in terms of keeping that under control.
Yep.
Cashel was at one point in time very known for his ability to sneak in, as we saw there, and grab power-ups.
Yeah, we see 24 here. I'm going to presume this is Cool Spot because he had Amp in mid and then went back and took 100 armor simply to set up a flag run. So he's running through mid right now. He's already got a bunch of flag ball damage on the enemy team. You can see him pushing through that 100 armor. He's just now down to his base level of health. That's what the 100 armor will do for you. It lets you just stroll right across mid, taking tons of damage. He ends up going down. Meanwhile, Linoleum sneaking through the pipes, going to get back to his own minigun, try to head up that lift, or try to head up that ramp, but this is one of those sections you're going to anticipate a cutoff. You can't really outrun the defense on this map, so you're going to have to choose your battles. Yep, both flags going back. See, the trick to this map is, while it's easy to get the flag moving, and it's easy to sneak across the map due to how wide it is and how many different flag routes there are key points where the defense will be able to cut you off, so you have to anticipate winning at least 2 or 3 fights to get your way completely across mid. The trick is, it's such a big, wide map, you have a lot of opportunities to double back on the defense to catch them out of position.
Yep, the double back is a very strong strategy, especially, like you said, when you have a map that has a lot of choke points where you're likely to see defenders step up and grab. We see Linoleum taking a grab, he's running off the stand.
Already down to 3 health.
Yeah.
And there's the cutoff for him. Meanwhile, 5 Minute Feed running down low. You see him taking that lift. Oh, a nice LG headshot coming down there by Josh to deny him that. That lift can come into play a lot whenever flag carriers are by themselves and they need to put some space in between them and the defenders just to buy some time.
Yeah, but it's also a very obvious switch for people. If you see him take the lift, you know he's most likely going to end up going 50. That's the typical route that flag carriers will take if they're trying to dodge through some hefty defense.
And I believe 100 armor was coming up soon. I don't know if it got taken already.
It was taken. I didn't see who took it, but I heard it get taken.
I was kind of surprised Cafe wasn't delaying there to try to pick it up mid-run. That 100 armor can be a big boost if you catch it in the middle of your flag run.
Definitely.
Both flags gone. Maybe I'll decide to look at them instead of an empty power-up. But Linoleum running with 10 health.
Breaking out.
Got rockets in his face. Going to go down. They will get this pickup, though.
Cashel gets the pickup.
Cashel definitely not having any trouble getting back in the swing of being on the spot. This is that minigun room coming back in. One of the places you anticipate a cutoff, and at the top of this ramp is another very vulnerable position. He's only got one cover right now. I'm not sure if that's by design, if they're trying to push extra ahead to get this return. But it looks like they might have timed it. There he goes. Cashel getting back to his flag, and that's the first cap. So already you're seeing Final Solution coming in here with a cap within the first 5 minutes. However, this is one of those maps you would be surprised to see a low-scoring game on, so one cap isn't really anywhere near a comfort zone in this map.
Not at all. It's a very quick, I believe you can cap in under 15 seconds if you're shielding across the map. I think the record was somewhere around 11 or 12 seconds. So it can be capped on very quickly. So even if you're up by 2 with under a minute left, there's still hope in this map. You may see defenses strengthen up during that time, but there is always that glimmer of hope for people.
And the interesting thing about this map is, since it's so easy to catch defenses off guard, you know, you may play a really solid defense for the majority of the map, and if the other team switches up their offense and you don't adjust, all of a sudden that can change things in a hurry.
And we just had Marcos' team get the amp. I believe that's going on offense, but I'm not 100% sure. Like, it's hard to follow who's who with all the numbers.
Yeah, I'm trying to get over to him. Whoever it is must have died, because I'm not seeing any of that, so I'm just going to go head back to the flags. Linoleum running in with 50 armor. That's one interesting thing. I'll show the viewers. From the flag room here, you've got this attic area at the top here. This is where you've got the 50 armor. It's very difficult for the defense to control, so more often than not, they're not going to have time to get that. More often than not, it's going to go to incoming attackers and occasionally to outgoing attackers for your own team. Defenders rarely have a chance to spend much time up there because they're running after their own flag so often.
We've got Cashel in his minigun area. That flag is now returned, but he did get it all the way back to his mini pretty cleanly with 2 cover before getting choked at that choke point once again.
Yeah, we saw Blue Team was actually very much concerned with keeping their flag home. And that's the tricky thing about this map, is it's so easy for enemy teams to sneak in front of you and grab that flag to deny you a cap at the last second. You can't really push up defenders to try to clear a path for your flag runner, because otherwise that flag's just going to constantly be off the stand. So it's really on your cover to sometimes have to push through 3 or 4 people in between them in the flag stand.
Yeah, we see Final Solution seems to be having an easier time getting the flag out and across. They've had multiple flags in back towards their base before getting cut off at those choke points. They just got it back to the rockets again after getting it back to the mini. It looks like they're coming in for another grab, but Linoleum is quickly sniped down.
Yeah, we're seeing some dancing. Josh and Rookie doing a good job of swarming that flag before it can really go anywhere. Actually body blocking the flag carrier so it couldn't move.
Final Solution once again getting the flag out. Looks like they're going to cut up and go back in towards their mini.
Yeah, you saw a cool spot dropping that trans. So if they are able to push this map or this flag all the way across the map and cap without him dying, he'll be able to teleport right back to that flag and grab it again to really keep Blue's defense off guard and maybe try to get a 2-for-1 here. Let's watch Josh now. He's actually the defender grabbing this flag to try to keep things alive to give his team time for a return. Heading up to 50. I mean, he's got so much room on him now. Oh no, they're going to go ahead and swarm him. So Red all over their flag right now. Blue's not going to have a chance to grab that. So Red doing a very good job of keeping their base clean while their flag carrier comes back in. That's really one of the keys to this map.
Yep, and they just picked up the 100 shield on top of it. So after they got the cap, Cashel, I believe it was, picked up the 100 shield. Or Cashel picked up the 100 shield, and now he's got the flag halfway across himself into his rockets.
Yep, they have amp cover too. Cafe grabbed that amp, and so they're going to take out this flag carrier. Oh, they didn't time the return there. They went ahead and returned it ahead of time. That's going to give the red team time to sneak in and get a grab, which they opt not to do. They actually all fall back, but I think that's in part because they knew they had a chance to grab if need be. Probably a smarter move there is to let that flag sit on the ground and have one of your teammates wait there and return it right as your flag carrier gets across the stick.
Definitely, though that does represent a certain amount of risk in and of itself. You get somebody sneak up behind you and trans in to get a quick steal and run. So there are pros and cons to doing it either way, but generally that is what you see, those timed returns.
Especially in a map like this where just any split second of availability and that flag can be off the stick in a hurry.
Yep, and we saw Linoleum get a pull and then a pickup, and instantly got smashed. And again, he got the flag and doesn't even get back to the goo before he gets killed. So, 5 mid or feed, their defense is starting to tighten up quite a bit. Maybe they're getting warmed up here.
Yeah, it's often what we see is, especially on really hectic maps like this, the very beginning will be a little chaotic, and then defense will kind of settle in. My theory is actually what happens is the offenses get a little more out of sync. At the beginning of the game, everyone's running in at the same time, everyone's at the power-ups at the same time. As your timing starts to break down, it makes your offense lose a significant amount of its efficiency.
Definitely, especially since we all know UT is the land of turn-back offense, where offensive players will turn around and try to help their defense return flags if they get out. So if you got one guy that turns around to help and the other two offense run in, all of a sudden instead of 3 guys coming in to get the flag, you only have 2.
I'm not sure what the timing on that amp was, but it should be coming up sometime soon, if it wasn't already taken recently. Meanwhile, Cafe is jumping out flag. Already his cover being completely annihilated, but they still have another person there for the pickup, so blue team doing a good job of getting these relays going. Doesn't get him out to mid there, but that's a good indication of the coordination of their offense and the willingness to jump in there and keep that flag moving. Meanwhile, blue base is eerily empty. I don't know if they're pushing up for power-ups.
Yeah, their defense pushed up to help out. Like they're pushing up to help that mid cover and stopping the power-up control. They actually just had a defender frag somebody on the 100 shield so Casual could pick it up. He's now got the 100 shield and he's going towards the flag, but he dies. Linoleum gets the flag, Pistons off the stand. He's got a pretty good run ahead of him, though he runs right through the amp. And
to the waiting red player right there. Yep.
Choke points abound all over this map. Now both flags off the stand.
Oh, it looks like we have some amp cover coming in. Whoever player 59 is has that for red. I'm going to try to get a camera on him. I think there he is. He's going in his flag to get some cover. We're going to see his flag carrier, however, not really anywhere near him.
Linoleum's got a troop of coverage by the amp, and he just dropped the flag. That looks like it might get returned.
We have 2 blue waiting on red flag, so they're going to have a tough time now. They need to cover their flag carrier. Can't worry too much about their flag, and that's exactly what happens. He gets split up. He actually had 1 cover on him, but outnumbered by blue, and that flag gets right back. So all the way back to your base, and you get nothing out of it. It's kind of tough, but it does happen a lot on this map.
Yep, close calls. This map reminds me a lot of Grendel Keep and how it plays, and just its general flow. It's very quick off the stand. There are quite a bit of choke points, like Grendel, and there are a lot of last-second returns and very strong standoffs.
Yeah, it's almost like a Grendel Keep with 2 extra flag routes, really.
Yep, and we see their 5-mitter feed defending very well after getting their flag pulled all the way back to their rocket, to the enemy rockets. They got a good return off on that.
Yeah, we're just about 2/3 done with this map, and so here amp taken. 100 armor looks like it's being fought over. Blue team's winning that fight, but it hasn't spawned yet. There we go. Casual going to pick it up, and I'll watch him with it. Already loses about half of it. You know, given that both teams have really settled into defense and/or dropping back their offense, they've slowed this map down on both sides. Still a tie game, obviously. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing a change in tactics now. Maybe a little bit more organized cherry picking. That is to say, having one of your flag carriers pick up the flag and just pull the defense off to one side of the map and essentially not cover them. You know, basically just run off to die on one side, and then have another person waiting for that flag to pick it up and then take another path just so that the defense is out of position.
Or as we like to call it, Barbie offense.
Well, given how wide this map is and how complex, or how, I should say, disparate the different flag routes are, that's a strategy that can really work on this map.
Definitely. There are, especially if you go out, you have one guy go out and take the flag towards flak, and then the next guy that grabs leaves low towards mini, then you're going completely the opposite way of where the defense is coming from when they're coming in to get back onto the stick. Another option for them here is to have the defender push up into more of an offensive cover type position where he would go down to either rockets or push up along that catwalk on the side and start to give more offensive cover, leaving one player to hold the flag down for The Linoleum side, looks like Ganja's doing a serious amount of fragging for his team. So it could be possible that we may see his team pull Josh up into more of a forward-ish position while Ganja holds the flag alone. So we might see that coming in as we get later, getting down to under 5 minutes left now. These teams might start to get a little desperate and might start pushing heavier onto their offense.
Yeah, see, the interesting thing about this map is at times, I don't know if you do it with the tie game, but if you're desperate for caps, so you're down late in the game, there's times when it actually makes sense to pull your defense up to mid and essentially concede your flag leaving the stand and just say that, hey, we'll catch him in mid. As Casual gets a pickup in the middle of the entire red team right there. They get another pickup on this. It's a rookie on the 100 armor. Everybody's getting blasted, but they're still able to keep this flag moving. Linoleum jumping right in there. Red team's got to be getting a little demoralized. Meanwhile, nobody on red has jumped ahead to get this flag. They finally get it moving, but Linoleum has only 11 health, but he has some cover with him. They're going to need to drop another person back and get on him because he's only got 11 health. Rocket takes him down. He's going to get that flag returned. Meanwhile, red team, he pistons and kills himself with blue flag in his hand. I don't know that he would have beaten the blue team back to his own flag, but he definitely didn't help himself by killing himself there.
No, that's definitely a sad end to any flag run. But it's very easy for it to happen. You get LG right as you go to piston, and all of a sudden you're dead.
Yep, that's the risk. Anytime you're taking self-damage to propel yourself, it's basically a risk-reward situation. You're just hoping that you can basically outrun the enemy damage, and couldn't run fast enough.
Yeah, these deadlocks are looking like it might go into overtime here.
Actually, kind of rare to see an overtime game on Anfractuous, given that any amount of mistakes made by either team or any amount of sort of advantage for one team or another can lead to a cap so easily.
Yeah, but this is also a very atypical low-scoring game for this map. Usually, you're more likely to see 5 or 6 caps per side.
Yeah, exactly.
On this map.
Yeah, I mean, scoring. Like I said, it's one of the few maps where scoring 5 or 6 caps doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win. You can get 7 or 9 easily. It's probably the most high-scoring map, and it's definitely, I would say, the map where it's easiest for a flag runner to solo their way across, be it being sneaky or just outrunning the defense. Sometimes hesitating and then just pistoning past the defense will work.
And we see, I don't know who that is that has the flag for Marcos' team, but they taken it to mid. They got a pick up by the 100 shield. They're going in towards their rockets with 2 cover.
And blue is all in on this return. There's nobody pushing ahead to get this grab, so if red can push up and get this flag escorted across mid, this could be the game changer right here. Oh, they get taken out right as they try to go to their lift. And that's the downside of trying to go to that lift, is that it's a very, it's a very predictable choke point right there.
It's very predictable, but the upside to it is huge. If you hit that lift, you can piston right off of that onto the stick, and it's not a hard piston to make. I'm not the best pistoner by far, and I've done it successfully a lot of times.
Yeah, I'm switching to flag carriers as the flags go right now, and they're just about dying within 2 seconds. So both defenses doing a good job of keeping their flags under control. It's not as easy as it looks on this map. People can pull up that shield gun piston away, and all of a sudden they're in front of your rockets, in front of your base, and they're heading towards mid. Actually, it looks like blue team switching Linoleum back to defense, maybe pushing a rookie up to mid. I don't know if that's a change that happened recently, but not necessarily what you would expect.
With how frag heavy he's been, and the fact that they need caps right now, having again Ganja, who's aliased as rookie right now, push up and play offense, might be a good idea for them to loosen up that defense and get the flag.
It looks like they actually all went. It looks like blue pushed a 5 offensive push just for a second to see what they could get through, and red just ran right behind them and grabbed that flag, and now they're all the way back into their minigun ramp without even, they finally get caught there. And so they're jumping around and trying to win this fight, but now we're seeing the opposite this time. Blue team, or excuse me, no, it's the same thing as before. Blue team was all in on that return, couldn't get it. Red team gets back to their base, flag is returned, they need to win this little fight on their flag, and they do, and red team goes up by 1, 22 seconds left. Blue goes all in with a minute left to try to get 5 offense in there, and it ends up costing them, and I think that may be the match right there.
Yeah, like I said before, that is a strategy that will happen, and There we see the downside to that strategy, which is you leave your flag completely open, and the other team gets a free run all the way back to their base, and GG being called. That is the game. So the five offense strategy did not work out in favor of Linoleum's team. His squad ends up losing at the very end, and we could have very easily seen overtime there. But that one mishap, enough for Marcos and his squad to get the edge and win the game.
Yeah, kind of surprised to see them go all in that late in the game. If anything, that's maybe something you try either after overtime switches or maybe even with 4 or 5 minutes left. That way, if it doesn't go well, you have time to make up because it's definitely a risk reward. It's a gamble, is what it is. And they took that big gamble right at the end. Red made them pay for it, and they didn't have time to react.
Yeah, the timing of that was very suspicious. I'm pretty sure that was a called play. Linoleum or somebody probably said, "Let's go five offense." So I don't think it was anybody. I don't think the defense just decided to go rogue there or anything.
Yeah,
but
given that Lino dropped all the way back to his lightning gun, it looked like he was playing solo D. It definitely looked like it was an organized play. It was something they tried. It was a gamble, and it may have been predicated. We're not on their team stick. It may have been predicated upon power-up timing. They may have thought that they had the advantage by with amp or 100 armor coming up or both. And sometimes it's not a bad move. But again, usually you'll see a 4 offensive push maybe. Seeing all 5 push at one time is a heavy risk. They definitely wanted to end the game there. And, Red sort of turned it around on